Hey, sis. Trying to figure this out. Hold up. I'm looking. Okay, wait. Ah. Bam. Got it. Okay. We live. Okay. So it's two videos I want us to watch, right? We're gonna watch these videos and then we're gonna talk about it. Especially, we're gonna start with this one. Let me see. How you do it? How you do it? So this is 7 ways childhood trauma would affect you, right? These are 7 ways. I want to watch this video because this is so true. And I wonder why. We'll talk about it. Let's just watch the video. I want y'all to see this.
Really? Abused or have witnessed it, we want you to know that it's not your fault, nor are you alone. Not only is it hard to talk about, but it follows you even after it's over. We hope wherever you are today that you're in a safer place. Our hearts go out to anyone who's been a victim of childhood abuse. In our description box below, we've included a few hotlines in case you need to contact someone for help. As always, you can also reach out in the comment box. Here are 7 ways childhood trauma follows you into adulthood.
Fair use.
1. You can't seem to remember much of your younger years at all. Do your high school years feel like a blur? You might find yourself drawing a blank when someone brings up a childhood memory, and you can't recall the same one. People with childhood trauma may experience flashbulb memories, in which they remember vivid moments, but not the full event. When you look back on the past, it's made up of more black holes than fully written chapters. You might even feel like someone or something has stolen your childhood, depending on the severity of the events. 2. You find yourself in toxic relationships. If you've ever watched or read...
Now, I thought it was just me. That is just certain stuff of my childhood I can't remember. Like, why is it like I remember a surprise birthday party I had when I was little. I remember the bad stuff, but it's like it is in like flashes, right? Like you don't remember everything. Like, you know how some people say, oh, my oldest memory, I was like 5 years old and this happened. And I'd be like, how the hell can you remember that? Like, I have no recollection of that. Like, I have no clue how they know that. That's just weird. But anyway.
Read The Perks of Being a Wallflower, you'd be familiar with the quote, "We accept the love we think we deserve." When you grow up in a household devoid of love and emotional support, healthy relationships are a foreign concept to you. In fact, many people who face childhood trauma often adopt the fearful avoidant attachment style, where they want emotionally close relationships, but find it hard to trust or depend on others completely. Consequently, without knowing it, you might seek destructive relationships, mistaking the mistreatment and uncertainty for excitement. 3. Or you feel like you don't deserve love at all. People who experienced abuse in their childhoods might avoid romantic relationships altogether, believing they can't be loved by others. This is known as the anxious preoccupied attachment, where the individual wants to establish emotional intimacy with others, but often fears rejection. As a result, vulnerability is usually avoided when they've only been hurt by people they once trusted. This kind of trauma doesn't just ache, it ruins you. 4. You develop passive aggressiveness. Did you grow up in a household with anger all the time? It can be so scarring that you might even grow fearful of this emotion. You learned at a young age that none of your emotional needs were important, so you've only resorted to burying or suppressing them. As you reach adulthood, you'll continue to exercise passive aggressive behavior because straightforward communication was avoided when you were a child. 5. Negative self talk is amplified. Childhood trauma gets into victims' heads and makes them believe they won't ever be good enough. It's not something they can just snap out of or fix with positivity. It's scary and real how convincing their parents might have been when their words and actions cut them deep. 6. You ride an emotional roller coaster. You might either feel too much or not enough at all. Trauma can cause a disruption in your emotional well being. Signs include trouble making decisions, impulsive behavior, and random outbursts of anger or frustration. 7. You don't know who you are. Identity is difficult, but it seems more impossible to grasp or pin down when you face childhood trauma. It's slippery like a fish, and the more you try to see yourself, the less you begin to recognize who you thought you were. Have you or anyone you know experienced any of these symptoms? Please share your thoughts with us below. We're an open minded team and we will never judge you for your stories. In fact, we often find them inspiring. Also,
So that was one of the videos that I wanted to see, but I really want to get into this Tasha K video, right? Her response to T.S. Madison and T.S. Madison disgusting video that she had made talking about this girl mama and talking about the girl mama allowed this man to touch on her for dope and just the crazy stuff, right? It was just downright sad. Then I'm gonna drop the link. We're gonna come up and we're gonna discuss it. You know what? I'm gonna play something and then I'm gonna drop the link. We're gonna kind of like go in between, right? Let me do that right now. Let me drop this link. It's no pressure to share. It's no pressure. I don't want nobody to feel like they pressured to share something they don't want to talk about.
And so when you chase lies, and I have to start this out because I know it's redundant, being that you don't know the source, you never know where the person or the lie is gonna go, and so you'll forever be chasing something that's not true, and that can lead you down the wrong path. That can lead you making the wrong decisions, acting off of emotion, things like that. But also, there's a flip side to a lie is that a lie can eventually be unchallenged. A lie unchallenged can eventually become the truth, right? And so we've seen that happen amongst a lot of like public figures. I don't even call them celebrities anymore because celebrities you celebrate. We celebrate these people. And a lot of people will call, like Diddy, he's not a celebrity to me, he's a public figure. And because I'm not celebrating anything about Diddy. Okay. And so, it's just terms, just like you said, good morning. You're not saying that no more, you're using grand rising. That's cool. Okay. And so you said mourning, we aren't mourning. Okay. I got you. All right. So I normally don't try to chase every lie and misconception, just whatever. I know what I signed up for.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna skip a little bit for it, but I like how Tasha K is very transparent. You see what I'm saying? Like, she's literally not afraid to say, to tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard, like, to open up and tell people your story, because some people like to use stuff against you, like what TS did to Tasha K. She literally tried to take this girl's story and use it against her. That's crazy to me.
I'm not a Black woman or a person that lives in a Black woman body who's sworn to correct all things that are just misdone in the Black community. And I'm going to start with marrying white and making sure that my kids can't fully identify as Black. That's a whole nother situation. I'm Black. I love being Black. So much so I wanted to ensure that I married an African man so that I could be Blacker. Right. You know, but my kids and their generation, they gonna be able to know where they came from. That's important in the Black community because we've been stripped of that. And so being able to get my kids an African last name from their African father, that was strategic for me. Just like how these Black men out here going marry white girls, strategic. Candace Owens, strategic. So yeah. Sorry, that's me. All right, so on to the lie. So there was some misinformation put out, and I would rather us not use names, okay? Because I don't want us to get sidetracked. We got 4 shows this week, all right? Community that is it's kind of one of those things like, please don't say that I did this. You can say that I did a lot of shit, but just don't say that I did this. All right. And so
that's how I am. Like, I do so much shit. You can tell the truth about me. You know what I mean? But don't lie on me. Like, come on, man. I do enough shit. You can tell the truth, but why lie?
For the lie that was put out, and like I said, we don't need to say any names or anything because I want us to stay focused. My mama never smoked crack a day in her life. My mama never smoked crack, and she prided herself on not smoking crack. Everybody around her was smoking crack. It was a very, very dark time coming up in the 80s and the 90s with 3 kids. And that was one of the things that she drilled in our head. Please don't let these niggas get you on crack. Don't smoke that shit. She wouldn't even let us play with other kids whose parents who she knew smoked crack. Triggering. That was such a thing because everybody was on it. Everybody was on it. And you know, like for her to hear that, and it's like, what? And at first, you know, I wasn't sympathetic to my mom because I'm like, you know the rules of this game. Come on now. How do you think Beyonce feels when I talk about Miss Tina? Like, seriously, you can't get mad when people come for you. I know, but I ain't never smoked no motherfucking crack. You already know. Like, it's just that if you understand what Black families went through back in time, like smoking crack, that is that's that just say anything, but just don't say that shit. And I'm trying.
Hey, I don't know why, but in my mind, whenever she say that smoking crack, I don't know about y'all, but when you have so much trauma in your life, like you literally find something funny about shit that's trauma, right? So whenever she say that, in my mind, I don't know about y'all, but I can always think of when Whitney Houston was like, crack is cheap. I don't smoke crack. Crack is whack. Like whenever she say that, in my mind, all I can do is think of Whitney Houston when she was like, when she was talking to Wendy Williams, y'all don't remember that argument they had, and she was like, crack is whack. Boy, that thing was so funny. Oh my God.
I'm trying to take a subject that is heavy and make it light. She never smoked no crack. I never said that my mama smoked crack. You guys, if you come to my comedy shows, you know who in my family do, right? So yeah, you gotta buy a ticket to hear that information. All right, like I said, we're gonna be in Orlando. Then after Orlando, we're gonna be in Boston. Make sure you get those tickets to Boston, Massachusetts, July 20th. And July 21st, we're gonna be in New York. I am going moving south to New York. Okay. We're going to be at the city wineries, but this weekend we're going to be at the Funny Bone in Orlando. Tickets on sale, TashaKOStage.com. And so smoking crack, that's kind of a slap in the face. Like, don't put that on me. You put a lot of shit on me. Just don't put smoking crack on me. And so what I do want to correct, because a lot of times when I do put stuff out, you know, people do misconstrue things. It was uncle by marriage. My grandmother was married to his dad, which was my granddad by marriage, and his son. So yeah, I don't know what that would make him, came to live with us, and he started at 5 years old molesting me. So you have to understand, like, I lived a very normal childhood for the most part, but I saw what other Black families, what other kids went through. But when I turned 5, my innocence was taken.
Okay, so just this part right here is to say that I lived a normal childhood, and then when I turned 5, like, that is so young for you to it's not. I don't know. I just, maybe I see it different. How can you say that my childhood was normal, but when I turned 5 years old, that's when I start being touched, or that's when I start being molested? It is nothing normal about that, because how many of y'all can remember when y'all was 2 and 3? Like, what is your oldest memory, like, that you can remember as a kid? And for her to say 5, she started being touched, that's nothing normal about that. Like, I don't know. I don't know, y'all.
No fault of my family, of no fault of my mom. You have to understand, in our family, the grandmothers helped to raise us, the aunts helped to raise us. We were very close-knit. We're still that way. So to know that somebody would be bold enough, because it didn't happen, and let me make this very clear. It didn't happen to any other kid in the family but me. My grandmother had such a hard time accepting this, because she's like, how the fuck did this happen? You have to understand, like, I'm in her house. It's a 3-bedroom house. My room is like literally around the corner from her room. She's married to the sheriff of the town.
And y'all know what? Like, when my abuser started trying to abuse me, I kept wondering, right? Because my mom had 4 kids. It was my oldest brother, it was my sister, I had another sister, and then it was me. We're all literally a year apart. So I ain't gonna say then, but as I got older, and you know, like, when you get older and you start, like, trying to understand your trauma and try to make it make sense, in my mind, I kept saying, how did he pick me? Why did he pick, like, somebody else? How did he pick me? Not knowing, literally, now that I know the other people that he was messing with, but I just couldn't understand, like, why did he pick me?
Her husband is the sheriff of the town.
My mind go crazy.
She is like a head chef on Tyndall Air Force Base. And where her husband's son was sleeping, I slept across the hall with her daughter. So she's like, how the fuck did this happen? I'm talking about, I came like in a, I came up in a house where Christmas was huge. I was the grandbaby they praised. Like, I was that grandbaby. There was no grandbaby. My cousins and them used to be jealous of me, because they'd be like, why did they give her everything? My Christmas tree, my grandma would go get a real Christmas tree. She would decorate that house, not for nobody else, but for me. I was the baby in the house. My mom couldn't raise me if she wanted to, because between my grandmother and my great-grandmother, Ma, those are the 2 houses.
Well, I think with Tasha, she said that she told her mom and her auntie them what happened, and they immediately contacted the police, and she told them what happened. And you know, at that age, of course, you can remember what happened, and she came forward and told. I'm saying, like, I like just any given memory at 5 years old. I don't think I could remember a memory at 5. And I think that with her scenario, I think it's different only because when that happened to her, she immediately told her mom, and her mom and her auntie them talked about it. They went to the police and they had her go to the police and say, hey, what happened? Show us on a baby doll what was happening to you. And of course, it's fresh. What is like a day or two old? She was able to remember. You know what I'm saying? And so I think with her, she's able to remember it only because the story had been told so many times over and over again. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's why she's able to remember so much that happened at that young age. That's just my opinion. I don't know.
Is that I went between. So my mom didn't stand a chance at 17 having a baby and raising that baby full time with her mom and my grandmother, great grandmother, fighting over me. So the fact that shit happened was like, how the fuck that this happened? Like, my grandmother did not. She was like, no, nobody did this. She was in denial for so many years because she felt like this couldn't have happened under my watch. This couldn't have happened. I'm in the house every day. My husband is the sheriff. He's the head sheriff. And he worked for the newspaper, the Herald, the News Herald in Panama City. My grandfather taught me how to, I was adding and multiplying and dividing at 5 years old. I was reading on a third grade level at 5 years old. Like, you have to understand, they could not understand, like, why wouldn't Tasha say something? And so it was my aunt that when she came over and she asked me, and I was coloring one day, and I remember this. We were sitting at the table. My grandma used to have them big giant spoons, and she was like, what you do today, Tasha? And I was like, went outside. I went to grandma's house, and I was like, Alan played with my tutu. And they was like, what? Because they taught me how to say vagina as tutu. And I was like, they was like, wait, what? And I was like, I remember, I was like, yeah, and I was just coloring. He played with my tutu. Those are my earliest memories. I don't remember anything earlier than that. Those are my earliest memories. And all I know is I remember my mom, because she had went to get married, came back, and she had just had my sister. And so she had been begging my grandmama and my great grandmama to send me to her. And they was like, no, she ain't going nowhere. She was like, I'm married. I can take care of my baby. They said it's not about that. She gonna be raised by us. And thank God I was raised by them. I don't regret anything that happened in my childhood to me at all. Shout out to my grandmothers. I love them. I call on them every day. But I remember my mom and my aunt, the one who I told this to, they immediately got the authorities involved. And you got to understand how this went, because my grandfather was the head sheriff, and they had to go outside of him to get a case. I remember going downtown Panama City to the courthouse every day to meet with lawyers and prosecutors and explaining using dolls what.
So that's okay. So they just caught it when she was young. They just caught it when she was young. They was able to, and what I love about her story, you know what I'm saying? Like, I literally have to say it, is that when she told them what happened, they believed her and they went to prosecute. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the Black family, a lot of them, they don't do that. I know with my situation, when it happened to me, I did say something to my mom, and she said to me, he was just drinking. Don't worry about it. He was just drunk. And I never forget, in my mind, I was like, I in my mind, I thought that if you drink, you do stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? So for a long time, I stayed away from liquor. But I remember, because me and my sister and my brother, we're all a year apart, right? So I was 10 My sister was 11. My other sister was 12, and my brother was 13. And so we used to all be in the room together. And the day that I told her, I remember I and she said, "Don't worry about it. He was just drinking. Stay away from him." And I said, "Okay." And I went in the room where my sister was, and I said, "Man, I gotta tell y'all what happened." And they was like, "What?" And I was like, "Such and such was trying to touch on me, and he was touching." And okay, so for people who don't know, I got a breast implant. Never had titties. Never had them. Never had them. God did not bless me with any titties. The titties that I had, I bought them. You know what I mean? Never had titties. So I purchased mine. You know what I mean? So I always had a flat chest. And he used to touch on my flat chest, and he used to be going like this, and I was like, it's nothing there. And I remember telling my sister them, and my sister was like, you know what? We gonna get together. Let's kill this motherfucker. It was like, we gonna kill his ass. Like they was, man, my sister was on 100 with me. But let me finish pushing play. We'll talk about it. We're gonna get into it. Hold up.
This boy did to me in the house. Okay. And how many times it happened? What did it look like? And I remember going to trial. My mom was right there. My aunt was right there. My grandfather was right there. The only person that didn't show it was my grandmother because she could not believe this happened in her house. And so that eventually led to my grandmother and my grandfather divorcing. Because my grandfather having pulled ended up, even though my uncle was found guilty, the deal was made that something was wrong with him. He was a little off, and he was. I can truly say without a shadow of a doubt, the man was slow, right? He was slow. So he said, I will take him away out of the state of Florida. He will be a registered offender, and he will never, ever come in contact with Tasha or any child again. And I never seen him again until he started following me on Facebook a few years ago. And I
No
was like, is this
abundance and
Alex?
clarity. You don't have to cam up.
Are you fucking serious? Like, he followed me. And that was a whole nother thing. And so he's still alive, Alan Blackman in Austin, Texas. Okay. He has 2 kids and a wife. And I reached out to all of them to let them know that I'm about to blast him. And I did. And so my mother never allowed anybody to do anything to me. My mother was there every step of the way through my court case. And after
I think I think for Maddie to say that was the lowest. It was the lowest. You know what I'm saying? Abundance and clarity. You can come up. You don't have to cam up, sis. I won't make you do that. No, you don't have to. But I think it was just for her to go that low and to pretend to be a woman, for her to go that low, it just, I don't know if it's just me, but like I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? Like if we going at it, I would drive you to hell. I promise you I will. I would drive you to hell, but I would never bring up any type of trauma that you've been through, knowing the trauma that I have been through. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that the trauma that I have been through with the person who was trying to touch me. You know what I mean? I remember I was 11 years old, y'all. I was 11, and he said, I am tired of you teasing me. We finna go to the motel and we finna get it done. We finna get it so. And in my mind, I'm 11, a virgin. Don't know anything that in my mind, going to the hotel and having sex, that didn't go together. You see what I'm saying? Like those two didn't go together. I wasn't putting that together. All I knew is that I didn't want him to do anything to me. And I was so afraid. I remember we was in his vehicle. He was going 40 miles per hour. And in my mind, I said, I gotta get out of here. And I looked to I looked to the right, then I looked behind us. I ain't see no cars behind us. So you know what I did? Open that door and just fell out the car. I rolled over, you roll a couple of times. I got up and I just took off running because in my mind I was just, and then he turned around and he started like trying to find me, but I was literally like hiding behind buildings, being behind people's houses. I ran all the way home. I ran all the way home. I called my sister. My sister she was only a year older than me. But my sister had a boyfriend, and I think he was like 30 because back then the older dudes talked to the younger girls, and my sister looked it grown, and everybody thought that she was grown. She used to tell people she was 18. The girl was 13. She used to say she was 18, but that's another story. But I remember this when they had beepers. She had left her boyfriend beeping. She said, if anything happened, if you need me, just beep this number and you can get in contact with me. So I beeped the number. The dude called back. I said, my sister with you. And I told her what happened. I said, he got me in the car. And he was trying to tell me, he said he taking me to the hotel because I'm teasing him. And he was touching on my chest because I didn't even consider, in my mind, titties didn't go with that. He just kept touching my chest. And I know I didn't have any titties, you know what I mean? So I just told my sister, he kept touching my chest. And so my sister was like, I'm on my way right now. So, and then my sister called my brother and my other sister, and all of them came to the house. They was like, let this motherfucker pull up. We gonna kill his ass today. And in my mind, I was so scared. Like, I told them, don't ever leave me alone don't ever leave me alone by myself, right? If y'all going somewhere, bitch, I sit in the car, but don't leave me alone. And I remember when my mama came home, this her child. When my mama came home, I said, such and such touch me. And they was trying to take me to the hotel. And I jumped out the car. And she literally said exactly what Nikki said. What goes on in this house, stay in this house. He was drinking. Don't worry about it. I would talk to him. And in my mind, I was like, we ain't gonna call the police. You know what I mean? Because I wanted him to go to jail.
So, Miss Parker, can I say something?
Go ahead.
I feel like from your story, you have never really gotten closure. And that's one thing that Tasha K got from the jump. When she told her mother believed her, her mother stood behind her, and her mother went the route that it took for her daughter to get the closure that she needed. And I think that that's what you're missing. I also think that they say when you go through something so traumatic, your your brain blocks.
Damn, boo. I'm just not seeing this. My bad, sis. I ain't see it. I got my phone on silent. My bad. My bad, sis. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go.
I think that because your trauma was so traumatic to you and it happened repeatedly to you over and over, like you have stories where you had to call your siblings, they had to help you get out, they leaving you pagers and stuff for you to contact them if you don't feel safe. I just feel like that's why you can't remember certain things, because the trauma was so devastating to you at such a young age. Your brain has just blocked it
Now,
all
I'm
out.
not gonna say I do that because I'm gonna say, like, for me, because I have been art too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I remember the I remember, I don't know what made me wake up, but I woke up and the person was coming in my window, like literally coming in my window. And I don't like, I just stood there because I didn't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't move. Like it's just coming through my window. I see you, nigga, you see me, we see each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you're right, with the closure part, I probably never did because I got 6 kids and
Right.
5 baby daddies. Like all of my kids got different daddies.
Right.
So I didn't really deal with my trauma until I was in my 30s. And what I did was I got deep into the church. Like,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? You know how some people they get deep into the church
Right.
where you talk about, like I literally used to study the Bible for 6 hours a day, every day, Monday through Sunday. It wasn't a day. I was in church 3-4 times a week. My kids was like, oh my God. And I remember my daughter, my twin daughter, she asked me, she said, Mom, why you give a lot all this money to the church? Why you give all this money to the church? Like, I would just, I don't know. I was, but I did get the healing that I needed. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't say that I did, and I did get the healing that I needed. And I also, like, for 4 years, I had to learn how to love myself because you go through a period where you don't love yourself. You know what I
Right.
mean? So for 4 years, I wouldn't date nobody. I wouldn't talk to nobody. I literally had to learn how to love me. You know
Right.
what I mean? So for 4 years, I didn't want to talk to nobody. You know what I'm saying? It was just me and God because I didn't know how to have a healthy relationship.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because I just didn't know how to do it. I had been fucked up since I was 10 years old. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, and not only with that, like I got literally family members that look at me and be like, if you weren't my cousin, I'd fuck the shit out you. And I'd be like, but we are family. Like, even if you thought that, like, why the hell would you even say that out your mouth to a person? Like, what type of
Right.
shit is that? Like, people are crazy as hell. Like, why would you say that? Why would you literally say that out your mouth? Like, I don't know, man. People are insane to me. Like the stuff that people say, and that's why, like, for me, I was talking to Boo yesterday, and I was telling her that growing up, when I go to my homegirl's house, I would never, like, if they have a boyfriend or somebody, I would never go in their house. I knock on the door and be like, hey, can you tell such and such to come outside? Like, I got a homegirl, Brenda. We've been friends since we was in the 5th grade. It was her and her boyfriend had not been together for at least 15-20 years before I even knew what this man looked like, because I will always knock on the door and walk away from the door and say, can you tell Brenda to come outside? Because I did not want to be around nobody boyfriend, because I just felt like, because men will try you, you know what I'm saying? And so I just never wanted to put myself in a predicament. But talking to Boo yesterday, she helped me understand what voodoo at. Boo, you got to come up here, because she literally helped me understand that that was me trying to protect myself. You know what I mean? Like, in my mind,
Absolutely.
I'm like, I'm trying to help, I'm trying to protect them from not being around their boyfriend. But in reality, I was literally, that was a way that I was trying to protect me, if that makes sense.
It does.
Jump in, abundance.
I can't get it. I don't know what happened. I can't get back on the screen.
Sister, I dropped the link for you. Come up here. Okay. My bad. Let me drop the link again. But which one is it? Abundance. Abundance. Can you hear me?
Okay, I hope everybody can hear me. Hey, Miss Parker, I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, okay. I
I
can hear you
want to
now.
say
At
to
first, I
all the
couldn't hear you.
victims, my heart goes out to y'all. My heart really, truly hurts for y'all. I do not follow Maddie. I do not follow some of the others. And when I did watch that whole situation, it hurt me to my core because I work on the other side. I don't work with the victims. I work with the ones who do the victimizing. That is my field. So
Oh, okay.
to work with them, and I have to sit with them, and I have to hear and read the crimes that they've done to women and children, it's heartbreaking.
So,
You actually have to read the legal documents of how old the victim was. It is very descriptive.
wow. So, what do like? Do you help them understand why they did it? Like, why they did it, and to help them not do it again? Like, how what do you do to for them? Like, how do you
So
do
what
you
I
how do you
do
help them?
is,
I can't hear you.
okay, so I work in the prison system. I'm a psych nurse.
Okay.
I do not believe in rehabilitation for uh, someone who does essay on victims. There is no such thing as rehabilitating them. I do not believe that. And the OG taught me that when I first entered into the field. There is no such thing as rehabilitating them. It's almost like something you're attracted to. If you're attracted to a tall, dark skinned, bald headed man, how can somebody rehabilitate you from not being attracted to that? That's what you're attracted to. And unfortunately, they're so sick in their heads and demonic, that is what they are attracted to. How do you change that? There's no such thing. I live in California. So part of my internship, I had to do work at a mental hospital here, which was actually built to house nothing but sex offenders for the rest of their lives. So they do their prison sentence. After their prison sentence, the state has deemed them a threat to society. They go to this hospital, they die there. There's no way for them to come out. It is.
So, do they? What happened? What
I don't
happened?
know. I don't know. She might have lost connection.
Damn, I got so many questions. I really want to know. Like, so if so, so if you think is no rehabilitation for them, why do they let them out if they literally know that they're going to do it again? You know what I mean? Like, if you know that this person, let me see, abundance, abundance, abundance. Some unmute yourself because we can't hear you.
I'm here. Sorry, it kicked me out
Okay,
somehow.
okay,
I did.
okay.
Can you hear
Unmute.
me?
Okay, yeah, we can hear you. We
Every state has different laws and things that they look at. Do I agree that they should be set free? No, because 9 times out of 10 they're gonna reoffend again, and it's a pattern. Unfortunately, the ones at the hospital, I'm gonna tell you how they get to the hospital. They have to have at least two victims, which can be minors or adults, and it has to be heinous in nature. Heinous can be,
what happened? Damn, it kicked out again.
Yep.
It's like getting to a good movie. You know how when they get ready to say something, look, when the good part getting ready to come on, it's like the TV just cut off. Like, what? It's like the internet went out. Like, I gotta restart the internet all over and get back to what we was. You know what I mean? Since I did drop the link for you because I really want to know if you want to come up because I want to know if you want to share your story. If you want to, I don't want to pressure you though. I don't want to pressure you. I literally I dealt with mine. I'm telling you, I dealt with it. That doesn't bother me like it did when I was younger. I dealt with my trauma. Like I literally had to deal with my trauma. So I'm okay. Abundance, can you hear? It kicked you out again. Abundance. Okay.
Girl, yes, this is ridiculous.
It's look, I saw you come off of mute.
So
I
as
just
I
said, damn, it's like you be like it's a good movie and the internet went out. But we listening, sis.
right, so the state of California can deem someone who's heinous in nature. It doesn't have to be that they were unalived necessarily. It could be that there was severe trauma to internal parts. I'm trying to be YouTube appropriate and be respectful. Just very gruesome. It doesn't have to be that they were unalived, but there's a pattern here. And if we let you out, you're going to do it again. So the way to protect the community is to leave you here for the rest of your life. Part of that internship, we had to go in the groups, listen to them talk about their crimes. We had to read what they did to the victims. Some of the victims were infants. They can be from infants to adults. And when you learn the psychology of why they do these things,
You know what? I am convinced that they do not want us to get this information. I am convinced. What is Boo? Is look that it probably won't even let Boo up. You see what I'm saying? Like I am convinced that they do not want us to get this information. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But they do not because I like you see how some people they trauma bond. You know what I'm saying? Like oh my god, it say it's not connected. The device is not connected. Let me see. Hey sis, can you
Can
hear
you
us?
hear me? I hear
Yes.
you. Can you hear me? Hi, everyone. So, when I was younger, I was probably about 5, I would have to say. And this was actually a friend of the family. We lived in a small town, and I'm 47. So when we were younger, kids could play outside and run and go where you want to, not like it is now where you got to protect your kids from everybody. So we had an apartment building that was next to us. We was all friends. And I would just go over there. So one day I went over there like normal, and one of the young men took me up to his room. I still remember what it looks like. He had a bunk bed, and he said he wanted to play doctor. So when we get in the room, he had a stethoscope hanging on the window, and these little doctor equipment or whatever. So he laid me on the bed, and I'm thinking, okay, we finna play doctor. I'm 5. So when it was my turn, I would take the stethoscope and listen to his heart or whatever. But when it was his turn, he would try to penetrate me, and he would tell me when it hurts. I'm 5. This man is in his 20s, so of course it hurt. And after I went through that, I think I suppressed it for years because I didn't know how to process what happened to me. But whenever I would go to a doctor's office, I would be terrified, like anxiety out the roof. If I had to go in the hospital, terrified. I would have to say when I turned about 13 years old is when it started flooding back because I was trying to figure out what was going on with me where I could not function as a young adult. So when it flooded back and I remembered what happened, I think I went on a dark path, real dark. I flipped it. I became promiscuous at 13, extremely promiscuous, because I felt like, because it was taken from me,
I'm gonna
that
give it
I
away.
felt like I'm going to give it away so that I
Oh
can
yes.
take my power back from it. So I became extremely promiscuous. But then what happened was, because I wasn't getting the feeling that they told me you're supposed to get from sex, the organ, because I didn't have an orgasm till I was probably like in my 20s before I knew what an orgasm was. So then I
I
flipped
was in
it.
my 30s, sis. I didn't even know what
Yes.
the hell it was. I was in my 30s. I didn't even know that you're supposed to have that having sex. I did not know that.
Yeah, I became extremely promiscuous, but then because I wasn't getting what I needed from men, I turned to women. So then I became bisexual. So in my mind, everything you told me you were going to do to me, let me prove to you that you can't. And for some reason, I thought that was me taking my power back. But what I didn't realize, like a lot of these young ladies don't realize, is you're actually giving your power away, because women take in. That's why we don't understand soul ties. Women take in when they're penetrated, when a man releases in them. They get a release, but you get an investment. So everything he's putting out spiritually, emotionally, mentally, sexually, he's investing and pouring all that into you. So you're taking it in. And what we don't realize is everything that happens in our life is planting a seed. So with that seed that he was planting in me came everything that was attached to him. So all these men that I was with, I'm taking this impartation in from all of these men. Now I'm wondering why I'm hearing voices and about to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs,
You better
because
talk about it. I'm
I'm
telling you.
taking all this in. So it wasn't until I sat down one day, it took a God encounter for real, because I grew up Church of God in Christ. I've been in ministry for over 20 years. That's why my channel, even though, we talk about a lot of stuff that goes on in the world, we use their mishaps to talk about life lessons from it. Because I realized that it took God for me to sit down and say, okay, you gonna keep playing with me like this? You just gonna keep playing. And it was like, if you've ever had like a real father in your life that say something to you and those two words make you snap back, that's how it was with God. And he was really letting me know, if you keep going down this path, you're not gonna make it. I'm not gonna let you make it, because I've invested too much in you. So it really for me was a hard road, because I was looking at men like, y'all destroyed me. So now I got to destroy you. And that's what I called myself using my body to do, to exact revenge on them for what they did to me. But I was really hurting myself and didn't realize it.
I think that's what happened to me too. I had a God encounter too, because I remember one day I was watching TV, and I'm trying to think of what this show is called. It's called The Missing or something like that. It's like when people just vanish and people don't know what happened to Cold Case. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
It used to come on a couple of years ago. It's called Cold Case. And I never forget, one day I'm laying in the bed and I'm watching this show, and it was a lady. She dropped her kids off at school and she never came back. And her kids didn't know what happened to her, right? And so I was watching the show, and they was pulling her. She had a wagon. Y'all remember those wagons? She had a wagon, and
Yeah.
they were pulling the wagon out of the water, right? And I was watching that, and God said that could have been you, but I saved you. And I just started crying. I went to church that Sunday, and baby, I went full force into church ministry, like that healed me. Like everybody get their healing different ways, and however, whatever works for anybody else. But when I tell you, me giving my whole self to the Lord, giving my whole self to the church, like that helped me. You know what I'm saying? Like that literally that helped me.
That's what helped me too. But then here's the tricky part. Because I've been in ministry for over 20 years. I've been in church, all of that. I've taught teachers, I've taught preachers how to preach. What messed me up is we don't realize that a lot of times we say church is the hospital, right? And sick people go to church to get better.
To
But a
get
lot of
healed.
times you can go in
Okay.
church and the people who are supposed to be the doctors in the church are causing the most damage. So
There
when
you
I
go.
got in church, and because I'm an extremely gifted person, I sing, I praise dance, I do all this stuff in church, and I just wanted to, God, I want to be used. Just use me, God. You know the song that says, God, whatever you doing in this season, don't do it without me. That was me when I was in church. But then when I got in church and got behind the scenes, not what you see on the TV with the
Behind.
preaching, the behind the scenes, it introduced me to a whole new world of what church wasn't supposed to be. And so I dealt with
It blows your
the
mind.
it blows your mind. I
It
dealt
blows your
with
mind.
the power trips and one of the things that I say on my channel all the time is power corrupts. Absolute power absolutely corrupts. And a lot of that is what we're dealing with TS. If you really want to see the heart of a person, give them power. They'll show
You
you
know
who they
what?
really are.
Let me tell you what I say. This is what I say. I say this. I say a broke person is everybody's friend. If you want to see who a person really is, give them some money.
Yeah.
Because then you're gonna see the real them. You're gonna be able to see the real them. But a broke person, baby, they love everybody. They friends with everybody. You know why? Because they ain't got nothing. But give them some money and watch how they act. They don't need you then. Let me tell you something. I used to buy food stamps from this girl every month. Bought food stamps from this girl. When drops came out, I don't know if y'all know what that is, but y'all remember when them fake tax returns came out? We call them drops in Florida. You know what I'm saying? When drops came out, I called her. I was like, so what's up? That girl told me, she said, oh, I don't sell food stamps. I said, oh, okay. Ain't no big deal. You know what I mean? Bitch, I went to spending my money in the grocery store, and I said in my mind, I made up my mind right then. I said, let me tell you something. When this stuff go away and she try to sell me some more stamps, I don't buy food stamps no more. Sure don't. And 8-9 years later, when all of that stuff had don't pass, and she called me, do you want to buy? Oh, I don't buy stamps. Don't buy them. Go to the grocery store. Do got a budget. Ain't doing it. You know what I mean? Like, but I say the opposite. I say you give a person money, they're gonna show you who they really is. But that's how I see it. But go
That's
ahead. I'm sorry.
facts. You good. That's facts. Money and power. Those are the two. Because we I would say we change, but we don't change. It just amplifies who we really are. It just give them money, and it's gonna show you who they really are by the people that they help, by the people that they turn their nose down on, all of that. So I got in church, and it almost destroyed me, but only because of the individuals that was in power. So I'm not one
There
of
you
those
go.
that's going to sit back and say that all churches are the same way, because they're not.
Yeah, I'm
I've
not
been to
gonna do that.
smaller churches who really believe in helping the people. A lot of times it's when they become mega churches that they lose their mind.
Yeah,
So I stepped back and I said, okay, God, how do you want to use me in this season with what I've been through? And so I started helping women who had been through exactly what I've been through, to let them know the first thing that you have to do is let go of the guilt. You got to understand that this wasn't your fault. It was nothing that you did to ask for this. There was nothing that you did to bring this on you. So let go of the guilt, number one. And number two, forgive yourself, because this wasn't your fault. It had nothing to do with you. It had to do with them. And then take back your power for them. So I had to forgive the person that did it to me. It doesn't mean that I have to be around you. It doesn't mean that I have to associate with you. None of that. But I forgive you so that you no longer have power over me.
that's right.
And that's what I tell young girls, forgive them. You cannot change the past. What happened to me as a child, it happened to me. I can't take back what happened to me, but I can move on into my future
Right.
without that guilt over my head. So that's what I let the young ladies know. Take your
And,
power back.
and I think for me, being touched as a child, for me, um, I didn't let my children go anywhere. They couldn't stay to nobody's house. They couldn't go nowhere because I just because in my mind, this person used to tell my mama he coming to get me to play with his child, and his child is grown, and I'm 11. How the fuck we playing together? You know what I'm saying? Like in my mind, if somebody come to me and say, "Oh, I'm gonna come get Mariah so that she can play with my daughter," and your daughter 30, bitch, I wish you would. You know what I mean? Like, that don't go together. But could not understand why they couldn't see that. Like, why can't you see what this person is saying doesn't make sense? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like, how does it? How
Why is it not
how
being
does
questioned?
it doesn't make sense? You know what I mean? I
Absolutely.
think that a lot of times, as the older generation, that they didn't question stuff. You know what I'm saying? As in to us, we look at stuff and we be like, that don't make no sense. You see what I'm saying? Because there's no way you're gonna tell me that a 10-year-old and a 25-year-old have anything in common. 25-year-olds ain't playing with baby dolls. 25-year-olds are not playing with children at 10. So that doesn't make any sense. And in my mind, I think I was so upset with my mom to the fact that I was like, how the hell did you miss it? You know what I mean? So for me, I just became, I am so overprotective when it comes to my children. My daughter can't, my daughter is 17 and 16. They don't go stay the night at nobody's house. I don't let my boys go stay the night at nobody's house because you can't trust men too. My brother was raped by a family member who was a male. So
Yes,
you
ma'am.
you can't trust them either. So do my kids go to anybody's house? Hell nah. No, ain't going. Ain't go no, I'm
That's
scared of
how
that.
mine was,
And
Miss
I'm the
Parker.
same way. I'm the same exact way. I work in the prison system. I don't even let my kids have cell phones. And most of the people who work with me, they kids don't have cell phones either. Because where we could put on parental restrictions and you think your kids is only talking to their friends, sometimes they give their numbers or they go in chat rooms and they think they're chatting with the child their age, and they're chatting with a grown person. That's why it's so hard to get a handle on this trafficking situation and our kids being taken and those type of things, because no matter what they put in place, these predators are 20 steps ahead. Their minds don't think how we could think. We doing everything right to protect our children, doing everything within our power. Trust me, their minds are far ahead. They know what to say. They know how to say it. They know how to word it. And sometimes these children, they think, oh, I'm just meeting up with my friend from school. Okay, I ain't letting y'all stay the night. Whoopty whoopty whoop. You can't do none of that. And it turns out it's a predator.
Let
And
me tell you, let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you what happened, right? My ex-husband, his cousin was 13 years old when she had her baby. And her baby daddy, she didn't know who her baby daddy was because she used to go spend the night to her friend's house. The friend had two brothers. Both of the brothers having sex with this girl. They didn't know which one of the brothers was the baby daddy. So that's why no
Miss
ma'am.
Parker, and I was sharing this with Vu when I spoke with her in Milwaukee, where I'm from. The kids have all the rights. My daughter, at 15, she ended up pregnant. So I was trying to figure out how she got pregnant because I put her on the 5-year NER plan. She was able to go to Planned Parenthood and have it removed at 15 because in Milwaukee, in Wisconsin, at 12 years old, the child has the right to decide what happens to their body. So if you take your 12-year-old to the doctor and say you want them to have a pap smear or you want them put on birth control because you think they're having sex, they're going to ask the child if that's what they want. If the child says no, you cannot give that child any birth control, get any test or anything, because the child has the rights. Even when it comes to like these kids, because Milwaukee is who started the Kia Boys thing, stealing these Kias and Hyundais with an iPhone charger. That started in Milwaukee. These kids are able to steal cars and all they get is a slap on the wrist. They
It's the
may put
same.
they
Go ahead.
may
I'm
put
sorry.
they may put them on house arrest, but if they abscond off house arrest, the only thing they do is take them back home. There's no charge, there's no nothing, and these kids know it. So you have all these kids having sex, getting pregnant. Now, after they get pregnant, that child is the parent's responsibility to
Right.
make sure that child is okay. But before that, no, the kids have all the rights.
That don't make no
It's
sense.
the
Yeah.
same here
No,
in
and look, let
California,
me.
and go ahead, boo. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I want to hear what you got to say. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's the same here in California. Your child can go to Planned Parenthood and they don't have to contact you. They don't have to use their insurance. The school does not have to contact you and let you know, hey, we have your child here to be seen, whether it's to be tested or birth control. They do not inform you. Even if you take your child to the doctor to have a pap smear, they tell you to get up out the room. The only way the parent can stay in the room is if the child gives permission. If that child is no longer
Facts.
a virgin, or if they have labs ran to see if they have any type of STIs or anything like that, the doctor asks the child, do you want your parent here while I reveal the results, or do you want me to talk to your parent? Other than that, baby, you are in the dark. These kids have a lot of
Mm.
rights and you can't do nothing about it.
And it's the
Yep.
same
I,
way here.
where y'all at? Where you at? What part of the town? I mean, the United
I'm
States are you in?
I'm in Pittsburgh, Vu. This is the Jackie.
Hey, Jackie.
Hey,
Listen,
baby.
and
I've
this
been
is
trying to.
abundance. I live in Cali.
Hey, Abundance. Hey, Boo. Hey,
Hey.
everybody. Hey, panel. Hey, chat. Let me be do my manners. Hi, everybody. How y'all doing? But I love this conversation because this has been coming down the pike. I did a video on it when nobody was on my channel, but this has been coming down the pike for years. So you got to understand what a lot of people don't realize: when Obama came into office and he first exercised the first LGBTQIA plus thing, it wasn't just things for the community. It directly affected the kids. You see what I'm saying? And what happened was they enforced it first in Canada. So for instance, in Canada, this guy went to jail. I tell this story all the time because his child got hormones at school. So he found the hormone pills in the book bag and was like, what the hell? And he took the hormones from the child. Well, the school system and the police said you can't do that. And he says, this is my child. My child's not going to take these hormones. And they put him in jail and took custody from him. Now, then it went from there and it started seeping over into the states. I want to say California was the first state that started entertaining that. But not only do the child have all the rights, if your child, whatever your child wants to do, parents that literally have no rights over their kids no more. That's just the facts. And if it ain't all over right now, it will be here in a second. Parents do not have any rights to their kids, nowhere. Your kids can do whatever it is they want, and it started with a lot. It was a very gradual thing that they input. Because I know a friend of mine, her daughter went on birth control, and she didn't know it. She raised hell, and them people told her, "We don't have to contact you." But it's sad because then, like you said, I forgot who that was said it because I wasn't looking at the phone. Uh, After your child get pregnant, now you have the responsibility of the child. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. I just wanted to add that, but nah, it's going everywhere.
It's when
And
they came out with that your body, your choice.
Mm-hmm.
And then
All
now
of
all
that.
of a sudden the daughters, my homegirl took her daughter to the doctor and said she needs to be on birth control. I do not have the money. If she brings another baby in this house, I can't do it. And they called the police on her and had her escorted out of the
Wow.
doctor's office because her daughter said she was scared to go home with her because she thought she was pregnant.
that's crazy.
Wow.
Can I add on to something Voodoo mentioned? Voodoo mentioned hormones. As someone who worked in a men's prison, level 4 prison in California, let me tell you how hormones work. When they say they want to become a TS, they
Mm-hmm.
have to go through therapy. So it's interesting that they could give your kids hormones because they want
Mm-hmm.
it and they want to trans. But adults, they have to go through therapy. Who do you think pays for the therapy, the treatment, and the surgeries? The taxpayers.
Yep.
As soon as they say, and then now they have the right if they want to be at a women's or a men's facility.
Yep.
And some of them, they don't even have to have the surgery. They don't
Yep.
even have to have the boobs. It's because you can't tell me in my mind how I view myself. If I say I'm a man, I'm a man. You cannot tell
Did
Mm-hmm.
me
y'all
different.
see? Hold on? I didn't mean to cut you off, but did y'all see where the man? I guess he identified himself as a woman, and they put him in the woman part of the jail, and he raped two females and got them pregnant before they realized he was a real man, and they
No,
took
that
him
was in
over there to the men's
California.
part.
They knew that he was. They
Yeah,
knew
they
that
knew he
he
was a
had it.
man.
No,
What?
he identified. That was in California. And
Yeah.
I actually know the
Yeah.
facility that he went to. He did not say, he said, hey, I identify as a man. And the way hormones work, it's some of them get affected by it when they're doing the estrogen shots. It affects their peen, and some of them it doesn't, or it takes time. So he said, hey, I'm a woman. And they did go around the prison. See, during that panorama, there was a lot of stuff going on. People wasn't watching because look, it was the make you look thing. Look over
Yep.
here. They were passing so many things up under the
Yep.
radar. So during the panorama is when that started. They went around to people, to inmates in California, in prison, and said, hey, you identify as a woman? Yes, I do. Well, do you want to be housed at a men's facility or a women's facility? That's within your right. And the ones who said, hey, I want to go to a women's facility. Okay, we'll set up the transfer. They put them on the same units, the same tiers as females, because you can't ostracize me just because of the way I look. I'm telling you, I'm a woman. And they knew that he still had a peen. They housed him with general, with everybody else, and he got two women pregnant. He didn't R them. They knew
Yeah,
he
they were
had a
sleeping
woozy.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
knew he had a
They were
boozy.
sleeping together. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They was together. And let me
Yes.
say this. Uh y'all don't understand. President Obama, not Obama, President what's the one in there now?
But
Uh
Biden.
Biden
Sleepy Joe, Sleepy
signed
Joe.
he signed a freaking thing into law that put hundreds of thousands of school psychologists, but they're gender affirming school psychologists. So, how you were saying you got to get therapy, that is the therapy. So, your child get to come in school. Oh, I'm talking about from kindergarten. And they teach them, well, what do you think? How do you feel? Are you a girl or are you a boy or whatever the case? And then if your child later on or even at kindergarten say, hey, I think I'm a boy, they start doing therapy to your child during school. There's a psychologist on board. Only, hey, mind you, these are in urban areas, not in the clear people areas.
Mhm.
And what they're doing is when your child go in there and say that, that's how they able to prescribe their medication and get the referrals for all of the pills and all of that stuff, because the psychologist is literally transferring and referring your child to whatever doctor who's just going to sign off on it. And that's been set in place long before Biden. Obama started all of that.
Yes,
It's just we were too busy worried about when what's that little kid that got unalived, if
Trayvon.
Trayvon Martin, that was a distraction. George Floyd, that was a distraction. The panorama, that was a every time something crazy that affects the entire states, like all of the states, that's when they doing their dirty work. They put us inside on quarantine. It ain't had nothing to do with no doggone panorama. They were trying to put up satellite. They were doing all types of things under our nose. And that's why by the time we
absolutely.
look up, look, and I'm gonna say, by the time we look up, it's too late because it's already signed in. And if it ain't in your state, stand by. It will be soon.
Yes, and I think Boo, you said this before on your own platform a while ago. California is one of the trial states. And it
Yep.
is because I'm from Texas. I live in Cali. And I seen an inmate, his child's mother said, "Hey, if you transition, you can't see my child. You're not gonna confuse my child." I watched that man start crying in group. He said, "No, I don't want to transition." Do you know that therapist kept trying to push him to do it? In
Mm-hmm.
California, they don't have to wear the state blues. They have a choice. They could wear muumuus, they could wear bras, they can ask for tampons, and we have to give it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. We have to give it. So that's when they say they cramping, they need a Tylenol, they need a Midol, all of the things of the things. They get curling irons, all of those things.
Wait,
You
in
know,
the
Mm-hmm.
in Kentucky, the
in the male
kids,
prison they get that?
Yes, I only do male facilities. I do not do female facilities because in men's facilities there is more security. A woman can get up in your face in a women's prison. They can get up in your face, talk crazy, be in all up in your bubble, and you can't do nothing or you lose your job. See, these men facilities, they don't tolerate that. There's no such thing. There's a double standard,
in
a
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky,
huge double standard.
the children in Kentucky are allowed to go to school and identify as dogs and cats.
Yeah. In Georgia
Yes.
too. In
And there
Georgia
is
too.
nothing you can
Oh,
do
I'm
as a
homeschooling.
parent to
Oh, I'm
stop
homeschooling.
it. They can go. There are kids literally where I'm at that go to school in little furry dog and cat outfits. And as
Yep.
a parent, if you
Yep.
tell them they cannot identify as a dog or a cat, you will go to jail and your child will be taken away.
Let me tell you
Yep.
something. Y'all remember when I was okay, so when I was little, you know how you go to the store and your mama be like, "You better not ask for shit. Wait till we get home." Let one of my kids talk about they identify or what the fuck ever. I'm gonna be like, "Wait till we get home. Bitch, if I don't fuck you, I'm gonna tear that ass up
Hey,
when we get home."
hey, but this how it's set up though, Roxana. This how it's set up. Them people, you go home and you discipline your kid. Let's say you don't discipline your kid. Let's say you threaten them. When them kids go back to school and talk to them teachers and that psychologist, you're going to jail.
So let
I'm
me
gonna
just
be
say
honest.
this. Let me just
I've
say
been in
this.
that situation.
When my son, I'm sorry.
I've been in that situation, and I'm a state employee. My child tried to play me, so she showed her behind, and I said she couldn't go on a field trip. So while I was going at college that night to get my degree, she goes to school and tell her teacher I whooped her. So while I'm at school, my mother calls me and says, "Hey, somebody is here and investigators at the house. You need to come home." I get home. The lady looked at my child and said, "Don't waste my time. There's children really out here in danger, and your mother take good care of you. Now, obviously, you did something, and she disciplined you. She didn't hit you because she was coming home stressed or over any other things or bills. She disciplined you because you deserved it. So it was warranted."
Mm.
And she said, "And if you ever do this again, we will take you away, not because your mother did anything wrong, because you are playing with the system. While you're wasting my time here, there's children I could be dealing with who really need it, really need my help. So
You listen.
it's
You ran
warranted."
across you, you ran across a good social worker. because they got something that's taking this stuff to the next level, and they waiting to lock somebody up behind this stuff and take your kids. Let me tell y'all something. That's why I be telling y'all. That's why I be telling people, you know, you gotta start with that healthy fear, not a fear like somebody, your child is scared of you, but your child has to have a reverence or respect for you, that they not gonna try you on that stuff, because it's not in our favor as parents no more.
There you
And
go,
that's done
boo.
on purpose. It's done on purpose because they want our kids messed up, and they want us stressed out. It's all a tactic. This ain't coincidence. So I'm saying that to say, I just want, when I be on here like dragging these rappers and all that stuff, because I understand the influence with no control, or the influence with no discipline. Man, these kids gonna be ridiculous. They're gonna be. I'm so glad I ain't having no more kids. Thank you, Lord. I couldn't imagine having a child in this environment, in this
You
in this what you call it.
and
And
you're
imagine
right. The
they
police
can even
officer
read on
told
the fourth
me.
grade level. They reading on the fourth grade level. Imagine where we gonna be at in 15, 20 years, and all of the 80% of these children only reading on an eighth grade level.
They gonna be slaves.
Yep. And you know
The
what the cop told me? The cop told me this. Y'all giving y'all kids everything. This was a acorn cop. He said y'all gonna give
Mm-hmm.
y'all kids everything. He said y'all
Yep.
giving them phones. They have no
Yep.
boundaries. He said, and when
Yep.
these kids step out of line, when y'all want to take their phones, y'all want to take
Yep.
their shoes, you want to take these tablets and discipline them. He said then they going upside y'all head and y'all want to call the police to discipline y'all
Mm-hmm.
child. He said the discipline starts at home. They shouldn't fear us more than they fear y'all. They should fear
Mm-hmm.
you. He said, I got ass whoopings as a child. He said, and had it not been, he goes, I had a single mother who had 3 kids. Had it not been for her whooping me and staying on me, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I'm thankful for that. That discipline goes far.
Mm-hmm.
so I just wanted to say, I went through a similar situation. One of my sons took my debit card to school and bought his class everything. And I'm sitting at home and I'm getting calls like, have you made this purchase? Are you buying 1,200 snacks at the store? So then we located where the card was. And I went down to the school and I told the school, the principal, the dean, the police, all of them, he's getting the business. Like he can't escape this one. You understand? This is the big one. And this lady came out her office and said, Miss Jackson, your son has been diagnosed with ODD. Never
Oh
heard of it.
Lord. Oh,
Never
it's
even
made up. It's
ODD.
fake. It's
never
fake. It's
even
fake.
heard of it before. I said, "Well, what is ODD?" She said,
It's fake.
oppositional defiance disorder. I said, "What does that mean?" She said, "That means when you tell him to do something, he does the opposite." And I told her, and he's going to get his ass whooped every time I tell him something and he does the opposite. If he's running out in the street and I tell him to stop and he keeps going and get hit by a car, who's responsible for that?
So that means if you tell him to be bad, that nigga gonna be good. You know what I mean? Like, what
It
kind
don't
of
work like that.
It don't
Let me
work
tell
like
y'all
that.
something.
It don't
Let me
work
tell
like
y'all
that.
something. See, I remember I did a live, and I said ADHD was made up, and a lot of people ran. Oh, they got on me. Oh, yes, they did. And I understand why people think that, because they're looking at what they are saying ADHD is. But
Right.
that was the prequel to this bullshit for ODD. ODD just means your child don't fucking listen. And
Yes.
that's been happening for all of time. All and back in the day when your child didn't listen, you whipped their ass. But ODD is something they're diagnosing all of these kids with, because they want to put them all on medication, make them all zombies.
Listen, I remember my mama done took my brother to the doctor, y'all. It's funny now because what y'all saying right now. My mama took my brother to the doctor because they thought something was wrong with his ears. They thought he needed a hearing aid or something like that. Like he couldn't hear. So they took him to the doctor. The doctor wrote the thing. You know, you go to the specialist. They did all these tests, and the doctor came back and said, "Ain't nothing wrong with his hearing. He just not listening." Man, my mama don't throw it. They was like, "He can hear you. He just not listening." But that made me think about what y'all talking about right now. That shit's funny because he got his ass.
But let me say this, y'all. Let me say this because this is crazy. I personally wouldn't let them diagnose my child with nothing.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't. I just wouldn't.
Absolutely.
You're not putting that paper trail on my child. I don't care if it's IEP 504. I wouldn't. You can't diagnose my child with
That's right.
nothing
And that's
because the
exactly what I
diagnosis.
told him.
Yeah, the diagnosis starts with the teacher. Y'all don't know that. It's the teacher who ain't got no medical degree who's diagnosing the child, and everybody else just stamping whatever the hell she say or
Right.
he say. And this ODD is literally made. They literally made something up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to express this to you guys. They literally found a way to say your child is bad so they can give them medication. They're trying. Listen, it's just way deeper than you guys will ever understand.
Never heard of
Oh, for
ADHD.
sure.
Wait, let me tell y'all this. ADHD back in the day was a badass little boy. That's all
Yep.
that was.
Yep.
Most black boys have so much testosterone that it is extremely difficult for them to sit for 8 hours a day. That's why they jumping all around and acting a damn fool. And a lot of times they're not interested. But they instead of going that route, that's why I quit the psychology thing because I saw what they were doing with these kids. See, in the psychology, we would perform therapy or recommend therapy. Hey, what do you like to do? You like music? Let's, things of that nature. But now psychiatry is saying, oh, nope, it's ADD, ODD. Pump them with the medicine, and now your child is literally starting to be addicted to drugs because that's what it is.
And also,
But
Boo, thank you for. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I just want to end with saying this: they're both fake. I know people think that I be crazy. Y'all know I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I put this on my soul. ADHD, all of that stuff is fake. It's not real. It's not real.
She's absolutely correct. If you look up in the DSM-5 on some of these things that they're trying to diagnose your children with, and you read them, the descriptions of them, it doesn't even make sense. What is causing our kids to have these attention deficit disorders is these tablets, these cell phones, these
Mm-hmm.
TVs, and not getting them outside and getting them active, making them color, having them reading, and those type of things, having conversations. Have you noticed that some of these kids, their language, they can't even hold a regular conversation? They click out. These tablets and stuff are doing harm to your kids, because if you look at some of these shows, these teachers can't teach as fast as these shows are running. Even what is the Coco Melon, I had to write a paper on that. And the scenes click so fast, your kid's brain is running at an abnormal rate. So when they go to school and they can't sit down, why can't? Because the teacher is human.
And
We
even on
have to
top
Mm-hmm.
of,
get them off of these tablets and these cell phones. Look at how many times you go out to a restaurant. If you go out and eat and there's kids there, look at how many of them are on a cell phone or on a tablet. Why is that the normal? You
You
don't
know
see
what?
them coloring. You don't see them writing. You don't see the parents interacting with them, having conversations, teaching them how to sit their behinds down at the table and act like they got some get right. You
You know
don't
what?
see that no more.
My daughter asked me because one thing that I normally do is when I cook dinner, I bring the food to the table and we all sit to the table. You cannot have your cell phone at the table. Nigga, you gotta talk. You know what I'm saying? So I think once we move and like once I move, I'm gonna bring that back again because my daughter asked me, she said, Mom, can we start eating as a family at the table again? Please, like it's literally no cell phones allowed at the dinner table. Like we have to start doing that. We have to start cooking and bringing back where we because a lot of times we're working and we don't have a lot of time to spend with our kids. But eating dinner together is something that we can all do. You know what I mean? Like that is an easy way to spend time with your kids. I
The
Miss
just want
core
Parker,
of oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
one of the things that I noticed in alignment with what Vu said, they try to put ADHD on my oldest daughter. My pastor's wife ended up going to the school because she said, I want to see what they talking about. She came back and she said, there's nothing wrong with your child. She said, your child is too smart, so she gets bored. She
Mm-hmm.
finishes her work before everyone else, and because they don't have anything set up for her, she starts acting out because there's nothing else for her to do.
Right.
One of the problems in these schools is the teachers are not equipped to teach our children.
Mm-mm.
I teach teachers how to teach. You got to understand there are some people who are visual learners. There are some people who are written learners. There are some people who are audio learners. If you
Mm-hmm.
have all of these kids in one classroom, but you're only teaching one way, then you're losing
Mm-hmm.
half of the class because you don't know how to capture the entire class at one time. So our children are just bouncing around because the teachers are not equipped. Another problem we had in Milwaukee is that a lot of the choice schools, the teachers didn't have no degree. Those people were basically going and get their best friend and saying, hey, do you want to teach math? Come up with a
Yep.
curriculum
What?
and you can teach math. Do you want to
Wow.
teach English? Come up with a curriculum. You could teach English. So you had people teaching your kids that didn't know nothing they were trying to teach them.
What?
But
Wow.
these were the schools that they were going to. And we sending them there because, we want to send our kids to the all black schools. And the all black schools weren't teaching your kids anything because they didn't know anything.
And you
Right.
are absolutely right. When my son was diagnosed with autism, I had a elder black lady tell me, you are going to be on the loneliest journey of your life. I said, why do you say that, ma'am? She said, baby, you will see. Let me tell you, that was the darkest time of my life. My mama and the good Lord and my other kids kept me afloat. But I didn't put my kids where they thought black kids should go. No, I use somebody else's address. I want my kid to get the same education and everything that y'all get them clear kids. Sent them right over there, and I'm present. No, y'all don't get to pass nothing. Because in the state of California, do you know that they can't test a black male child's intellectuals? It's against the law. You can sue them.
What?
What
You
you mean
can,
by tested intellectuals? What that mean?
like how they test their, or they did their IQs and stuff like that in the state of California. And the clear people told me this. That's against the law. You can own the
Mm-hmm.
district if they do that. My son is 14. He reads at a college level. They kicked him out the autism classrooms. He is mainstream.
I
It's
remember.
how involved you got to be involved with what they're teaching your kids too. And I'm not saying just for autistic children. In all your kids, get involved and
Yeah.
see what they're teaching. I'm a single mother of 4. I
I
work
remember
full
they did
time.
that. I
You get
remember.
involved because these teachers, if the thing is, they think we don't care. What does the media put out there? We don't care. We don't care about our kids, so they don't care. But baby, I care. You're not gonna talk to my child any kind of way. They're gonna sit there behind at that desk and learn.
I remember my daughter. You know how you go to sixth grade. So sixth grade have, well, here in Florida, I don't know how other states is. They have sixth, seventh, and eighth, right? So my daughter, she was in the sixth grade. That was her first year. And 2 weeks after being in there, now she was already they consider, what is it called? ADHD. In 2 weeks, she had took this test and they put her in the seventh grade. I don't know. I didn't know what was going on, right? So she was in the seventh grade for 30 days. Next thing you know, she in the eighth grade. I said, what in the hell is happening? How is this girl skipping all of these grades? How is this possible? To my, she testing out. And I'm like, what? Like, I had no clue what the hell was going on, y'all. I still don't know to this day how they did that. I don't know what was happening. I just know
Let me
she
say
And
this.
started
also, some of these tests that
ended
they
in the
give
eighth.
our kids are not meant for our kids. They're using a
No.
clear analogy. These kids, some of these tests, a lot of them are built for our kids to fail. They
Yes.
were worded and written against us.
Yes.
and our children. So we see our kids' test scores and we see how they're scoring, and we're like, man, my kid is so far behind. Some of those tests are not meant, most of them. Even when you get to college, like the nursing program test, like the ink, some of those tests, they are meant to go against us. They are not for us.
Mm-hmm. Let me say this. I, the school system was never built to benefit the kids. I don't care if it was in the 1900s or the 2024. It was only built to make workers or in factory workers. But ultimately now that has shifted now to they're trying to dumb your kids down. Even the curriculum that they're teaching in schools, they suck. And remind you, the only kids that are suffering from this are mostly not the kids in urban areas. It's not the private schools, it's not the Catholic schools, it's not the rich people kids who go into these nice schools. It's them regular, degular, schmegular schools that everybody's children are going to. But it's all done by design. And the biggest tool that diverted our children, I ain't gonna say I'm gonna say our children, that diverted our children was that doggone internet, that iPad and that cell phone. And unfortunately, a lot of us don't have the we're not free enough to be like, you know what, I'm about to spend buku time with my kids. So most people gotta go to work. And that leaves a lot of idle time for these kids. But I would suggest, if you can, get them involved in some physical activity, football, basketball. I don't know if he want to go outside and do cartwheels on a cartwheel team. Do something, because what happens is these kids don't have nowhere to put that energy, and if all they got is a cell phone or an iPad, they did a study on the psychological results. I'm gonna do one on my channel and show it to y'all. They did multiple studies on what the future of the kids who were raised under the iPads and the iPhones, what they would be like, and it's gonna break your heart. When they talking about from depression to anxiety, social issues, all these types of things.
We
And
see
it's
it now.
literally put like that. We see it now.
Look
Yep.
I
how
was
the
I was in Vegas
Teacher,
with
panorama
my
look how
friend.
the
Wait, hold
panorama
up.
played out.
I was in Vegas with my friend, and we were inside the store talking to the lady trying to get some ballerina tights or something. And the daughter, when we walked out the door, she was like, "Oh my God, you guys are weird." And I was like, "What you mean?" She said, "Y'all are talking to her and you don't even know her." I said, "What?" Like talking to people, and I told her, I said, "See, you one of them churn." I said, "You're not used to talking to people. You used to keeping your head in the phone. At one point in time, people actually converse. These kids, that's why they going crazy. That's why they having all this stuff going on with them. They unaliving each other because that's the main core of our issue is that technology. I don't care what nobody say, because
and
my
we see,
baby
and
played basketball all her life. She ain't had time to be stuck in no books. I mean, in no damn what you call them."
and we
What you
see it
call it?
right now in the schools when the teachers take the phones from the kids and how they
Mm-hmm.
react and want to fight the teacher, and it's just it just it's too much. And I was a school bus driver for over 20 years, and I watched people buy iPhones for their kindergartners.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, what do a kindergartner need with an iPhone?
So I need
Oh,
to
well,
Mm-hmm.
I
take my
need to get
baby
in touch with
phone.
my kid. What if the bus break down and blah blah blah, ma'am? We have a whole radio here. If the bus break down, your child will get home safely. It's just you want your child to have the iPhone so you can sit up there and tell all your friends, "Well, my baby
Yep.
got the iPhone 15."
Yep.
But
It's
what we don't
ridiculous.
realize is Trump finna get rid of all that when he get in office. And people are not really paying attention the way there's so many people of
Mm-hmm.
color that are following Trump. This Project 25 is hell. And we think it's just about abortion. No, he's getting rid of public school because he feels like education is a private good, not a public one. Stated in the Project 25. He's getting rid of free school lunches because he's getting rid of Medicaid. All these gender affirming terms, all of that is gone.
Listen,
Diversity out the window.
listen.
LGBTQ will cease to exist because they don't
I
believe it.
like Trump. I ain't gonna lie.
Well,
I like Trump. I like
this
him.
my
He does.
question. Has Trump ever endorsed the Project 2025? Is it on his website? Like, is it somewhere he said, I'm standing behind, that's one of my political
No.
things,
What
or
is
is
that?
that big?
No, he
Huh?
hasn't physically
What
come
is
out and
Project
said it.
25?
Project 25 is a 920 page document that the Republicans are coming up with for when Trump gets in office. So
I just feel
technically,
like
he has not endorsed it. However, a lot of things that he says when he gets up and speaks, he speaks Project 25 without saying, I'm endorsing it.
I don't feel like Trump is a beat around type of candidate. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, are they all BS? Anything Trump has said, like that wall when he said, I'm building a wall, and he
Yeah.
Hey,
started
I
building
ain't
it.
gonna lie.
He,
I was
he
wrong
ain't
about
sugar
this.
coated too much of
Build a
nothing.
wall. Build a wall.
Yeah.
So I feel
Well,
like this Project 25 is another way for the Democrats, the original KKK, for them to get what they want. Because
Dixie
this is the
crack.
thing: Black people with fear is a mother. You see, these clear people don't feel nothing. You seen January 6th. They don't fear nothing. They didn't know if the militia was going to be called in or nothing. These clear people don't fear like that. Just us. And if
And
you can control people with fear, you got them.
let
And
me
the
say
crazy
this.
part
Think
about
about.
oh
Oh,
my
go
bad.
ahead.
Oh
Go
no, I
ahead.
was just gonna say that they use Obama. The crazy thing is Obama literally did so much stuff to hurt black people and we wasn't even paying attention. That but every like all the stuff that really, really hurt us was done with him in office. But people don't like to talk
Yep.
about that. So Trump didn't do anything to hurt us if they really want to tell the truth about it. But go ahead, boo.
But see, the thing
Let
is,
me say
Project
this. Think about
25 isn't a
everything.
black thing. Go ahead, Bill.
No, it don't affect nothing with niggas. Let me say this. Think about the whole conversation we was just having about the rights for your kids, all the things, the medication. Think about all of that. Now, this is all far left Democratic stuff that's going on right here. So, what does the Democrats have to do? They need you to forget about everything we just sat on this panel and talk about and put a fear factor right in front of your face. So I see people be going Project 25, Project 25, and I ain't gonna lie, from a lot of the stuff I heard in it, I'm here for it. I ain't gonna lie. Now, as it pertains to us talking about everything we're talking about, if you go back the Democratic route, what you think is gonna it's gonna get worse. And they just literally putting that in there so you can forget about what's actually happening and get into your emotions and feelings and be like, oh, well, yeah, no, I'm scared of Project 25. So yeah, forget about what's going on with my kids, forget about what's going on with me, forget about the economy, forget because I'm scared of Project 25. Y'all gotta I want y'all to just think about it. Just think about it. The way of the world today ain't never been like this. You don't own your child no more. You don't have no doggone say so over your child. Actually, your child have all the say so over you. They sterilizing our children through medication. They making them crazy and think they crazy because they telling them they crazy, diagnosing them with all that crap. That's a leftist issue. That ain't a right issue. So I need y'all to think about that when y'all be running around the Project 25 because that shit is a scare tactic. They do this every 4 years.
Yep.
What's really happening? What's happening now is we are in the worst state ever as Americans, period. Financially, economically, socially,
We're in a
mentally, physically, everything. We jacked up.
we're in a
And
We
what
depression
jacked
has
up.
and
happened
people don't even
positive
realize that
under
we're
the Biden
literally
administration? Nothing positive has happened to us positively under the Biden administration either. We got Scamala in office, and for you, some of y'all who don't know Scamala in California, look,
Let them know.
she and hunched her way to the top, baby. She
Everybody knew that.
hunched her way to the top, and not just that. She prosecuted Black men in California that she knew without a shadow of a doubt were innocent to help her prosecution rates. So when she went up to the Senate and everything, she had a higher chance. Biden don't like Black folks. Why would he run with Scamala? Because he knows Scamala ain't Nika. He's not dumb. They're not dumb.
Right.
We just
Right.
thought
Oh,
she
what
was.
she say? How it go, boo? Do the ski week. Do it, boo.
Ski.
Oh, she ran that ski. But
Clutching
So
her
that's how they
pearls.
hoodwinked us. Scamala prosecuted many black men in California that she knew was innocent.
yes, indeed, a lot.
Many under
The
under
most. The most.
Mary Joanna charges, like
Yep.
a little dime sack of Mary Joanna. Who cares about that? I don't care about that, because guess what? What y'all don't realize is that actual offenders, they're considered nonviolent criminals. Y'all better read
Yep.
up. Because in California, that was passed. That's why so many were released during the panorama. They are nonviolent offenders. They don't use weapons, blickies, and stuff when they offend these women and children and males. They do not. When they are going after children, it's
Yep.
words. I'm going to hurt your mama. I'm going to hurt your daddy. I'm going to do this to you. There's not a weapon. They are non-violent offenders. Who would pass a law like that? Newsom, as that's what Trump called Newsom. Newsom. He's a Democrat. Why would a grown man with children pass a law like that, considering them nonviolent offenders, and release them all? Because he
And you
has to
see,
think like them. He gave
Because
every
that
inmate in the state of California a tablet now. He passed $1 billion bill, gave every
told
inmate
y'all.
a tablet.
I
Y'all
think
don't listen. I'm telling y'all.
one of the biggest things we have to realize is at its core, America is a Southern run country built on Christian values. And what the Republicans want to do is take us back to those Christian values. We messed up when we started allowing people to identify as whatever they want to identify as,
Hmm.
because it triggered their Christian values. So really the whole thing, I don't think Project 25 was a scare tactic. I think it was more them letting us know we finna take it back to what it was. Now, if you believe in the nuclear family, man, woman, children, and all of that, Project 25 ain't gonna scare you. But if you believe I am a man and I have the right to be a woman, even though I still have a pecker, then those are the individuals who would be scared by Project 25, because it does away with LGBTQ and all of these gender affirming terms that give you the right to challenge a woman.
Take me back to segregation, hell.
see, that
At
don't
this
bother me.
point, just
Like
take
what
me
people
back.
have to realize is that we're literally in a recession, and people don't even realize it. They don't even see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all remember when eggs used to be $6 for the 60 for the pack with the 60 in there? It used to be like $5 and some change. But now that same pack of eggs is $13. We're in a recession. And in Florida, they literally have 1 million people a year moving to Florida. They're building condos, but boo, you said that's everywhere, right? But here it is bad. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said I'm finna sell my house, grab my coat and my pocketbook, and I am moving to a state where I can afford to live. Especially now that I got, my college degree. You know what I mean? So I am moving to a state where I can literally afford to live, because Florida is too high. My sister texted me the other day and said that her landlord told her that when her lease is up, her rent is gonna go from 900 to 15. That makes no sense. If they don't have a cap where they can like say you can't raise, the rent to this amount, you can only go to this amount. It's no cap. You know what I mean? So I'm out of here. I gotta go. I can stand down here.
Unfortunately, America is the only place who money has value in other places. Right now, if I was Mexican, right, and I took $100 and sent it back to my family in Mexico, that $100 is worth 1,000 pesos. Nigeria, if I took $100 and sent it back to my home in Nigeria, that $100 is worth 1,500 naira. So if I make $1,000 in the United States and send it back to my home in Nigeria, I just came up $150,000. That's why you have so many scammers coming out of Nigeria, because our money is worth so much in other places, but there is nowhere that Americans can take their money and come up the way other people can come here and come up.
Well, America is so busy in other people's business. Like we got homeless people here. We got stuff that we need to worry about here. We should not be funding a war that has nothing to do with us. People need to mind their business. Mind your business, Biden. We have nothing to do with whatever war they got going on. That is their business. What Russia got going on with these people, that is their business. America need to learn how to mind their business. And that's the problem. They in everybody else's business, to me. So that's how I see it. Mind your business. Mind the business that pay you. And we got homeless people here, but we're sending $400 million to another country. That don't even make any sense.
Facts. And I think someone said something about BRICS. No, if BRICS comes into play, the US dollar drops all the way to the bottom. And that's why all the countries are coming together, because they're trying to take down the US dollar.
It don't matter to us, because guess what? Our dollars don't mean absolutely nothing. Like everything is going up, but your pay is not going up. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? Your dollar is not going up. So what does it matter? Like literally, I'm gonna keep going back to these eggs because I just bought some yesterday and they was $13. And I am upset about that because the last time I bought them last month, they was $9. Now they $13. Not to mention, is the food we're buying is even real? Like I don't buy a lot of meat. I'm trying to literally go back to just me and my kids gonna be doing vegetables, and especially when I move to Georgia, baby, I'm getting me a whole garden. It is not. I'm getting me a whole garden so we can grow our own vegetables and eat our own vegetables, because this stuff is so high. We don't even literally know if some of the food that we're eating is real food. We're eating clone food. You know what I mean? This
Yeah,
shit is
look at the
crazy.
packs of
Wondering where
chicken.
the skim and
You'll get a
everything coming
drumstick.
from. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Miss Parker. You'll get a pack of drumettes or drumsticks, and the dang chicken drumette be as big as my thigh and be up in the package. Like, how did you get here? What chicken is this? This couldn't have been a regular chicken with a thigh the size of mine. There's no way.
They got videos now where they're taking cells from the chicken and using one cell to mass produce chicken. And they're testing it on the market now, but they're testing it amongst the rich to see how it does. But they've moved that, and now they're going to start doing it with beef and other animals. So they're taking one cell out of the chicken and basically cloning, like you said, to mass produce chicken.
Nah, I'm finna go back to eating just veggies. Like I'm literally I have to figure out a way to feed my family without eating all of this processed, like without eating all of this other stuff, because I can cook and my husband would literally go fix him a plate. He gonna get the rice, the vegetables, and the cornbread. But sometimes he don't even touch the meat. Like we literally gotta find a way that we can feed our families because where's all these diseases and all this stuff coming from? We gotta find ways where we can survive without killing ourselves to eat. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. I think we got to grow it ourselves, because the stores, did you see the video where the people are taking the fruit and twisting it and the fruit look rubber? The watermelon and the stuff is rubber and bending, and the fish is mushy, so it don't even look real.
Yeah.
I'm starting to be scared to eat.
Yeah. And we're wondering what the hell is happening to us. You know what I'm saying? Why is this person this young? My sister died at 23. My sister was 23 when she died from cancer. And we're wondering why all of this stuff is happening to us, but It's in the food. Like, it's the food. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. Like, we gotta figure this out. We gotta come up with ways where we can eat healthy and we can. I don't know. I don't know, y'all. Y'all help me, but we got to do something. But we don't took this conversation to hell. Hey, we started one place, y'all, and we we took this bitch and ran. Then
It was a good conversation.
we had a good time today. We had a good time today, and ladies, well, y'all want what? We've been on here for almost 2 hours.
Well, let me just say this in case we get ready to get off. To go back to what you originally started with, my heart and prayers go out to anyone who has been in a situation where their family members, their friends, people who they have trusted, or even just a stranger, have violated them against their will. My prayers go out to you guys, and just try to take the time that you need and heal and get your closure so you can move forward and have a productive, positive life. And we love you.
People have to remember that forgiveness is not for the person. Forgiveness is for you. You know what I'm saying? So you have to you have to have forgiveness so that you can move on, so that you don't continue to hurt yourself.
Right.
Because like you were saying, sleeping around and messing with this person, you're not hurting other people. You're only hurting yourself. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you have to be healed so that you can be a whole person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you got so many broken people. Like, you got this girl, she's broken, right? And she don't found this guy, he's broken too. You see what I'm saying? It's just like furniture. You don't want to sit on broken furniture. You want to check, okay, is that chair okay before I sit down? Because if you sit on broken furniture, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna fall. You know what I'm saying? So you want to be whole. You got to be whole. This is why I said I took 4 years so that I can heal. I had to learn how to love myself, because when I looked in the mirror, I didn't like who I saw. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be able to call yourself out. You got to be able to do this. How I started is, when you get ready to take your bath or shower, ain't nobody in that bathroom but you. Ain't nobody else in there. You have to learn how to be honest with yourself. I have to tell myself, you know, you got a nasty ass attitude. Your attitude is so jacked up. Like, I had to be real with myself, because if you can't be real with yourself, you can't change anything. And the only way you can be a better person is you have to be real with yourself. You got to tell yourself the truth of who you are. You know what I'm saying? And once you do that, you can begin to work on, like, you know how some people lie. You girl, you gotta stop that damn line. You know what I mean? You gotta stop, be honest, start telling the truth. So you have to begin to work on yourself. That is with anybody. You have to work on you. You can't help nobody else until you help yourself. We have to work on us. We have to help us. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be healed. You have to work on yourself before you can do anything else. You got to work on you. So,
Miss
Absolutely. And you
Parker,
have to
I
surround
totally
yourself with individuals who are going to do the same thing. Because if you are surrounded with people who ain't going to do nothing but kiss your ass and tell you what you want to
what to
hear,
hear?
then you're not going to be any better. I don't surround myself with people who are going to tell me what I want to hear. I surround myself with people who are going to tell me the truth. That's one of the reasons why I like Voodoo Doll TV so much, because she's honest and she's honest without pretension. So she's not, just because she wants to hold on to a channel, going to tell you what she thinks you want to hear. No, she's going to stand 10 toes on what she believes. We all need people in our life like that. There was an old saying that says, friends don't let friends drive drunk. Well, that goes
Absolutely.
for life too. A friend is not going to sit back and watch you crash and burn and just let you
Absolutely.
crash and burn because they want to be a friend. No, a real friend is going to tell you, I love you enough to allow you to be mad at me if it helps you and does not hurt you.
That's
And
right.
as Black women, a lot of times that's where we mess up, because we've reached this day and age where we just want everybody to tell us, you're not loyal if you're not telling me what I want to hear. No, I'm loyal because I'm not telling you what you want to hear.
Right.
Because I want to see you do better. I want
Right.
to see you become better. And you're not going to become better consistently doing the same thing over and over again.
Right.
Matter of fact, the old saying is, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result is insanity.
It's insanity, girl.
It's
Get it.
insanity.
Girl, you
And
preaching
too
right
much,
now.
we
You
keep doing
preaching.
the same things and we're expecting different results. No, you can't say that you're healing and you get from under one man and jump under another one.
Right.
But where have you had the time to look at where you went wrong in the situation?
Right.
A relationship falls because of two people.
I want y'all to watch this video. We feel watch this video. Watch this. It's only 8 minutes, but I want y'all. We're gonna watch this video, and this video is so true, y'all. We're gonna talk about it.
Okay.
Let me see. But watch this.
Do not categorize the blessing by colors. It is not the colors you need to watch. It is the character. Watch out for the character. I'm going to tell you, there are 3 basic types of people that you will interact with if you are a child of destiny. Can I share this with you? The first group are confidants. Confidants. You will have very few of them. Confidants are those people in your life who love you unconditionally. They are into you. Whether you're up or down, right or wrong, they are into you. They are in for the long haul. If you get in trouble, they get in trouble with you. They'll come see you in the jailhouse. They'll come get you out the crack house. They're confidants. You can open up and share anything with them. You'll never inherit your kingdom until you find your confidant. You can't be David till you find your Jonathan. Having a good confidant is the key that unlocks the kingdom, because you were raised outside the gate and God's going to cause you to reach over the wall. You got to have a confidant behind the wall who can mentor you for what God is going to do next in your life. The problem with most people is that everybody they run around with is under them. And so you are forever feeding people who can't feed you. And after years of feeding them, they begin to drain you. You got to have somebody who can feed you so you can feed somebody else. Oh, y'all don't hear what I'm saying. Am I talking to anybody in here? You need the confidant then. The confidant is those few people that come along in your life that are for you. They are with you. They are intimately intertwined in your life. They are there to make sure that you reach your destiny. They will confront you. They will get in your face. They will get in your business. They will tell you when you're wrong, because they are confidants. If you have 2 or 3 of them in a lifetime, you are a blessed person. Without them, you'll never be who God called you to be. You need to find your confidant. Number 2, the other group are your constituents. They are not into you. They are into what you are for. They are for what you are for. They are your constituents. And as long as you are for what they are for, they will walk with you and work with you and labor with you, but never think that they are for you. They are for what you are for. And you have to know that, because if they meet somebody else that will further their agenda, they will leave you and hook up with them, because they were never for you. They were just for what you were for. They are your constituents. And throughout your life, if you're not careful, particularly if you're broken, you will mistake your constituents for your confidants. And you will think that they are for you when they are really not for you. They are just for what you are for. And by the time you get through falling in love with them, they will break your heart as they hook up with somebody else who is for what you are for, because it was never about you anyway. It was about the causes that you represent. They are for what you are for, but they are not for you. They are your constituents. Can I go deeper with this? The third group are your comrades. These people are not for you, nor are they for what you are for. It is just that they are against what you are against. And the comrades will make strange bedfellows. This will cause people to come together who are not for you, and they are not for what you are for, but they are against what you are against. And they will team up with you to help fight a greater enemy. But don't be confused by their associations. They will only be with you until the victory is accomplished. These people are like scaffolding. They come into your life to fulfill a purpose. And when the purpose is complete, the scaffolding is removed. But don't be upset when they are removed, because the building always remains when the scaffolding is removed. What I'm saying to you, my brothers and sisters, expect the constituents and the comrades to leave you and desert you after a while. Don't be upset when they don't react to your dream the way you expected them to, because they were never really with you in the first place. Be careful then who you tell your dream to, because if you tell your dream to your constituents, they will desert you and try to fulfill the dream without you. If you tell it to your comrades, they won't support it, because they never were for what you were for anyway. If you find a few people in your entire life with whom you can share your dream with, you are a blessed somebody. I can tell you how to identify people who are really for you. If they are really for you, they will weep with you when you weep, and they will rejoice when you rejoice. When you walk in a room and you tell somebody good news, stop being happy for a minute and watch their reaction. If they're not happy for you, shut your mouth and walk back out of the door. Oh, y'all don't hear what I'm saying.
Let me tell you something. This video right here, like every couple of years, because this video is super old, right? I have to go back and rewatch this video, because take the church part out, right? Just take the God part out. Just take bishop out of it. Take swallowed out, right? Take all of that out. And just listen to what he is saying about the three type of people in your life. You see what I'm saying? And when you can look at the type of people that you're going to run across in your life and who they is, and put people in they, let me tell you something. I literally had to put people in they right, in a proper perspective, right? Like, you can say, I've been best friends with this person for 27 years, 25 years. But you literally talk to somebody else every day, and that relationship is different. You see what I'm saying? So what I had to do is I had to just sit back and start putting people in a proper place of who they are in your life. Like, you got to put people in a proper place. So I would watch this video like every year. I would come back and watch it, just because this is the thing, right? I always say this: when you're at a job, every year they have an evaluation. every year they pulling you in that office. They're gonna do an evaluation. They're gonna tell you if you're getting a raise. They're gonna tell you about your performance. They're gonna rate you from 1 to 5, 10, excellent, good, okay, however, need improvement. Y'all know how it is. You know what I'm saying? So do that when it comes to relationships and people in your life. Like you have to sometimes then evaluate the people in your life. Well, I ain't heard from such and such in years. Why am I giving them the title of the close friend? You know what I mean? Like, why is this person, I got this person here in my life when they're not that person? Like, you have to do an evaluation. It is okay to do an evaluation. So I do that. I was just saying, take it, do with it what you will. Like I said, my mama always said, when people give you information, sometimes you need it and sometimes you don't. Sometimes, like for me, if I don't actually need it at that moment, I will take it, put it in my pocket, and if I need it later, I'll pull it out when I need it. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to share that with y'all.
You are so
I
correct.
want
One
to.
of the
Oh,
things that we learned was people are in your life for a season, a reason, and a lifetime. But where we mess up is we want to make seasonal and regional individuals lifetime companions. So you are absolutely correct. Everybody in your life should be in a compartment. The person that you kick it with might not necessarily be the person you can tell your business to. The part that would be like you trying to start a business and you want to take your hood friend to the meeting with you for corporate America and they've never been. You can't take that person with you because they're going to throw off what you're trying to do with your business. This isn't a business associate. This is somebody you kick it with. And until we step back and really learn how to put people in the categories they belong in, matter of fact, when we learn how to do that, it'll keep us from so much hurt that we go through because we'll be able to pay attention to who's in our life. I know the individuals I associate with. I know the ones I can let come in my square, in my safe space, and I know the ones that I can keep at a distance. And it doesn't mean I love either one any less. I just know how to deal with you. And we have not learned how to deal with the people in our lives because we want to clump everybody into one mold. And then when they fall outside of that mold, then we're hurt as if the person did something to us. No, the person didn't do something to us. We put them in a space they were never supposed to be in.
very true.
That's
Um,
right.
I think often we expect what we give to people, to relationships, friendships, that we're going to get that same in return. And when it's not reciprocated, we are hurt. It really hurts us to our core. But sometimes the signs were already there that they were not who we wanted them to be. And we probably should have cut that relationship a long time ago, or just maybe not cut the relationship, but categorize them correctly.
You got to put them in their proper place. Like you
Yes,
see, sometimes you don't have to cut them off, but you have to put them in their proper place.
right.
I always say this: I never release anything out my mouth that's not under my foot because I would never allow you to use it over my head. You see what I'm saying? So if I'm not over it, I ain't telling nobody until it's under my foot. If it's under my foot, do
Right.
with it as you may. Because if I release it out my mouth, you can do with it as you may. I don't care because you cannot use something that is under my foot over my head. You can't do that. You see what I'm saying? I refuse to let you do it.
Right.
Don't
And when we
bother me.
put people in the rightful categories, we deal with them different. That means something happens, we address it differently. Some people love to come to social media to air out things with their friends. That's not okay. If that's your friend and you love that person and that really is your friend, there should be nothing that keeps you from calling that person, reaching out to them. Hey, can we meet? Can we have brunch? We need to talk about this. We need to have a discussion. If it's somebody who you're like, you know what, it ain't even that deep for me, then you know how them only. But we really need to get back to being able to talk to each other. Sometimes we could talk to each other and agree to disagree. Sometimes it's like, okay, hey, maybe I'm in a different place than you are right now. There's no love lost. I wish you well. Maybe we'll come back together. Maybe we won't, but I want nothing but the absolute best for you.
That's
We
right.
as women need to get back to loving each other, even if we don't agree. We have lost that. Like that loving, we view every woman as a competition or they're here to hurt us. And that's not the case. We really need to get back to loving ourselves. Once we love ourselves, then we can love each other. Until then, it's not going to happen. I do have to take my mom to the doctor and to run a couple
Yeah,
of errands. But I do want to say
we
to
better
all of
wrap it
you,
up. I just want
yeah.
everybody to say their final thoughts so that we can wrap it up.
Well,
I
this
love y'all. We gonna do this again because this is healing for me. I don't know about y'all, but I love healing. You know what I mean? So, um,
absolutely. I know we came up here to talk about TS Madison. I want to say, even though I've never been there, to the women, men who have been in that situation, I love y'all. I was fighting for y'all in the comments, those who were stating their own personal situations. I want y'all to know my heart was bleeding for y'all. I was in tears listening to that. I do not support that type of meanness. I understand the triggering factors. I love y'all. There is healing in talking, and it is the quality of the person you're talking to. We all heal in different ways, whether it's church house, praying, meditation, having a good friend, whoever, whatever works for you and makes you better. I want nothing but the best for all of us as women, and I want for our children, because it really does move beyond. So this is a
absolutely.
clarity. I love you guys. This has been amazing. I hope all of you have a wonderful day. Blessings and love to all of you.
Love you too, sis.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on your panel. This is the first panel I have been on since I've been on YouTube. So
Really?
thank you definitely for having me. What I would share is share your story. Tell your truth, because a lot of what holds us back as women is we hold on to that pain and we don't release it. And until we learn how to get a release, we'll always be stopped up, clogged. And to be honest, that's why so many of us are so angry and so bitter and so negative, because we have so much trapped trauma. So find that confidant, like he said. That's why my channel, I call them the confidants. That's
Oh,
what my
that's what's
people
up.
are called, because I want people to understand you have a confidant in me if you need to talk, because I know what it's like to go through that pain and not have anybody that you can talk to, anybody that can help you pull through that, and you got to pick yourself up off the floor by yourself and dust yourself off. So love yourself. Find
Absolutely.
like-minded people who think and believe like you, and surround yourself with people who are going somewhere and not just people who want to stay stuck in the gutter. So love you all. Thank you for having me. You guys be
Love you
blessed.
too. Thank you, sis. I just want to say that I really enjoyed myself today. So until the next time, I gotta Nikki, y'all know how we're gonna do in the mod chat. We're gonna figure out what we're gonna talk about next. And until tomorrow, maybe the next day after. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I love y'all. Have a good day.